All right, I'm back. So what I ended up doing was finishing up this side view as a full section view. Okay, remember with section views, we don't have any hidden lines, but we show things that are hidden as object lines, where we've cut this thing in half. So one of the things that I found that was difficult this year, in 2023, was finding the radius of this arc, which is the same thing as the radius here, 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 and here. So I found that for everybody, I want us to use a radius of 3/16. Okay, and that TYP means typical. That means I'm only going to have to show that dimension on one of these four arcs and just write TYP. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to be doing is we are going to be adding in our dimensions, but we need to pay very close attention again to the scale here. So what I tend to do first is go around and label everything that needs to have a dimension, okay, and then after that I add in the dimensions, because we're going to have to do a little bit of math. So I recommend that you have your calculator with you so that we can get this done easily. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is make sure that I'm putting in my extension lines and my dimension lines. I'm going to start with side view. I'm going to need to know these dimensions. I'll extend that down just a little bit. Remember that extension lines start anywhere between a 32nd and a 16th of an inch away from the object. There should be a little gap in there. And then touching those extension lines are your dimension lines. And I don't necessarily know what those dimensions are yet, okay, because I was using my dividers to transfer this information. So I'll have to go through and get those dimensions in a minute. We're also going to use our lettering guide so that we can make our letters 1/8 of an inch in height. Okay, so that's just from one hole to the next using the lettering guide. And I like to set up my dimensions like right away. I'm sorry, I have so much stuff on my desk, I'm just creating a mess here. Okay. I need to know. I'm going to use this center line as an extension line. I'm just going to go a little bit high on that. If you take a few minutes to just make sure you have your lettering guidelines, then it will help you keep your lettering nice and neat. It would be a shame to spend all this time making such a nice drawing and then ruining it by having just really sloppy writing that nobody can read. Okay. Okay. The reason I pulled these so far up, again, is because we're not allowed to put dimensions inside the glass box. Okay, so if I did the total height, the total width, the total depth, I wouldn't be allowed to put those dimensions in there. So I use those extension lines to pull them way up and out, but I'm staying inside my border line. Okay. I'm also going to need the radius of these arcs, and the best place to do it, I'm going to be creating like this really weird arrow that kind of backtracks on itself. And the arrow touches the arc, but it's pointed at the center point of the arc. Now, I know that I'm going fast and you've missed a lot of the stuff, and that's one of the blessings of videos, is that you can pause it and do the work and then hit go when you're ready to try, try the next step. It really is very helpful. So please use that pause, because I know during class when I talk, you can't pause me, despite the fact that I know most of you really, really want to. I just keep talking. Okay. So those are all the dimensions that I'm going to need here on this side. On this side, whenever we're dimensioning circles or diameters, you need to do it on the view that shows it as a circle. But the reason I'm doing this one over here is because we are never, ever, ever supposed to dimension to a hidden line. So this is my way of, I'm going to have the diameter symbol here, but that's the only way I can dimension this without creating another view, and my paper is not big enough for another view. So this is my workaround on that. Okay, so what are some of the things that we are going to need? Let's see here. I believe we need to know, oh goodness. Yep, oh wait, I can use a depth measurement. Okay, I'm sorry, you heard my brain stall right there. I'm going to, whenever you're using your leader lines, they need to point at the center of the object, but they stop and they touch the circle that you're dimensioning. So I tend to use my triangles angle measurements to help me stagger these. And remember that when you're doing leader lines, you need to flatten it out to a horizontal. Okay. And this is going to have a bunch of information, because I'm going to use these to dimension all 4 of the small circles and holes. Okay. Let's see here. What else do I need to dimension? I need to dimension this circle. So there. And I need to do the phantom circle. So I'm going to put that there. And this is when I'm going to do go this way. I could solve this. Okay, next one, I'm going to do the smaller circle. I'm going to do the smallest circle. And then that one. Okay. So it's different to see the way my brain works, but I like to set things up in that way. I can just focus on the math and filling in the blanks once I start measuring to put in my dimensions. So setting things up now saves us time. All right. So these are all going to be diameters because we dimension circles by their diameters and arcs by the radius. Okay. So here's where the calculator gets involved. The scale on our paper says 9 inches equals 1 foot. Okay, so that means this is drawn smaller than what the actual one is going to be. So that essentially, to get that 1 foot equals 12 inches. So if I have 9 inches equals a foot, 9 divided by 0.75 will equal 12. So you'll use your measurement divided by 0.75, and that will be the written dimension. Okay, so let's do a couple of these. I'm going to start with the largest circle. So I am seeing 7.5, 7.5 divided by 0.75 equals 10 inches. So my largest circle equals 10 inches. Okay, doing another one. Five and 7/8. So 7 divided by 8 equals plus 5. Okay, 5 and 7/8 divided by 0.75 equals 7.833. And this one, we're going to use decimal inches. That way we don't have to convert it to fractions. So 7.83 repeating. Okay. And you're just going to go through the whole process. Let's talk about the radius. I used 3/16, so 3 divided by 16. Okay, divided by 0.75 equals 0.25. And then I'm going to use TYP for typical on that. And then the last thing, this one, and this one will have more specific whole callouts. So I'm going to do those, but then I'm going to stop the video and I will have a photo of the answer key on Canvas for you to double check your work. Plus there will be one in the classroom for you to check your assignment. Okay, so I'm going to measure this. That is, let's see here, 7/16. So 7 divided by 1/6 equals divided by 0.75. So we're going to use diameter of 0.583 repeating, and then through, because that small hole goes all the way through, and then we'll use our depth signature, which looks kind of like a little shovel. It has a flat end and an arrow that points down for depth. No, wait. Ignore that. Through is the depth. We're going to do times 4 because there's 4 circles. Okay, this big one, I'm going to need a depth symbol because it does not go all the way through. So that is going to be 17 divided by 16 divided by 0.75. Okay, so diameter of 1.416, repeating, with a depth. Okay, and that depth is 1/16 divided by 0.75. So with a depth of 0.083 repeating, and then we do times 4. Okay, the last one I'm going to show you, this hole, whatever the diameter is, because this hole goes all the way through and we don't have that depth measurement for this specifically, we're going to do that diameter through. So I have 1 7/8 divided by 0.75. So I have a diameter of 2.5 and then through. So that is the magic. Remember, you take your measurement, divide it by 0.75, and then that equals your written dimension. Okay, I'm going to stop the video and let you check your answers in the classroom when you are done.